Whether or not you're a DIYer, you probably have to cut wood sometime in your life, and for that, you probably need a meter saw. However, these things can get quite expensive. Go down to Home Depot or Lowe's, and they can cost well into the $200 or $300 range. However, Harbor Freight Tools has a meter saw for just $89. Yes, that's how much this one cost. So in this video, I'm going to tell you whether this meter saw is any good or not. We'll test it by cutting a few pieces of wood. I'll show you around all the specs and features it has, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. This meter saw is sold under the Chicago Electric brand, which is a brand sold exclusively through Harbor Freight Tools. Considering that Harbor Freight always has sales going on, you can easily buy this meter saw for well under $100, far less than some of its competitors. You can easily adjust the angle of the saw. Simply loosen this adjustment knob, press down on this tab, and adjust the angle. The nice thing is that the saw actually locks down at commonly used angles like 45 degrees or 22.5 degrees. You can also change the tilt angle of this meter saw. Simply loosen this knob over here, and you can adjust the angle of the meter saw like this. It goes all the way down to a 45-degree tilt. Once you're done adjusting, just tighten this knob back up. This saw has a few other nifty features. Loosen this knob over here and you can pull these guides out in order to make sure that the wood or whatever you're cutting is positioned straight. When you're done using your meter saw and you want to put it into storage, simply push the blade down, pull this little tab out, turn it 90 degrees and push it back into place. Now your saw is nice and compact, perfect for storage. Bringing it back up is quite easy. Simply lightly press down the sawing apparatus, pull this tab, turn it 90 degrees again, and the whole saw blade will come right back up. With regards to specifications, the saw requires a simple 110 volt outlet, and it has a 10-inch blade that should be great for most light applications. So far, this looks like a great saw to have, but how well does it cut wood? Well, let's find out. Well, first up is a 2x3 whitewood stud, and well, that was easy enough. No effort. We ended up with a nice smooth cut. This is much better than what you would have if you use a handsaw, and well, the whole thing took much less effort. This blade cost me around $10, so for less than $100, I've got this excellent cutting machine. The saw works great on this 2x2. I can easily cut through this baseboard, which is almost 5 inches wide. Once again, that was absolutely effortless. Needless to say, this saw works well on small pieces of wood as well. This piece of wood is only about 3/4 of an inch thick, but it cuts through it perfectly. And I can keep doing more cuts. I love how you can make so many cuts in rapid succession. There's absolutely no way you would be able to do this by hand. Now, let's try cutting this 6-inch wide piece of wood. And it works well, but one thing to note is that this piece of wood is only about half an inch thick. If you're trying to cut a 2x6 stud or anything longer than that, unfortunately, you will need to upgrade to a bigger saw. In my opinion, that's probably the biggest drawback to this saw, is that the 10-inch blade, while it's great for most household applications, if you do want to cut like larger pieces of wood like a 2x6 stud, you will have to get a bigger saw in that case. Or another option is you can make half your cut on one side, flip the slab over and make half the cut on the other side. But anyways, if you are cutting a lot of large pieces of wood, I do recommend getting a bigger saw. But this should be great for most household applications. This A-frame shoe shelf is something that I constructed using this exact meter saw. And I can't tell you how nice it was being able to use a power tool rather than cutting everything by hand. This shelf is constructed mainly using 1x2 and 1x3 furring strips, although if you have any wood as large as a 2x4, you should be able to cut it. So now for the answer to the big question, should you buy one of these tools? Well, absolutely. If you're a light DIYer or a homeowner, I highly recommend picking one of these up from your local Harbor Freight tools. If you own a home, things are bound to break, whether it's a garden fence or a piece of furniture, and when the time comes to fix it, well, this power tool will come in handy. And if you're also a light DIYer, like you want to build a shoe shelf or you want to put up a picture frame, once again, this tool is a great thing to have. It's 100 times better than cutting something by hand. Obviously, if you're a professional carpenter or a contractor, I do recommend purchasing a more expensive and versatile tool. However, for 90 to 95% of applications, this tool should suffice. And considering its low cost and relatively compact size, I think this is a great addition to your tool shed.